Métis Nation. We confirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of cooperation and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting be agended as amended as follows. Delegation, the Staff Sergeant of the RCMP, Raymond Campbell, is not coming tonight. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Sticilo. Be it resolved, be it resolved that council accepts the regular agenda as amended. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, the regular council meeting of February 8th, 2021. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows. And form part of these minutes. No action items, filing items, AMM, the news bulletins of February 5th and 19, FCM, investments in rural transportation, FCM Voice News of February 16th, FCM Connect of February 9th and 12th, the media releases, Crown Services Strengthening Manitoba Hydro, Mental Health, Wellness and Recovery Peer Support Program, Advanced Skills, Advanced Education Skills and Immigration Skills, Talent and Knowledge Strategy, COVID-19 Bulletins, Mountain View School Division, February 8th, 2021, Treaty 2 News of February 2021, Thompson Chamber of Commerce North American EV Rally postponed to 2022. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following corporate report for February 22nd, 2021, that of the city manager. Go ahead, Cindy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been a couple weeks since our last council meeting, and there was a long weekend in there, so there was only 9 days in the office. And it seemed like I was very busy, but when it came down to the report, there was very little to report because most of it is actually happening in the council meeting, or a lot of time was taken to prepare for the meetings that I was in. However, there's a few things I will highlight. In terms of COVID-19, there have been no changes to the provincial health order since our last council meeting. So all city operations will remain as status quo. And just with the gradual relaxation of restrictions, the introduction of some new variants, warmer weather that encourages people to move around more, we continue to remind staff and those entering our facilities to screen for symptoms, wear masks, wash their hands, and stay home if ill. It's important for us to remain diligent with all of these precautions. Next thing is about our cinema. So we will be talking about that a little bit later, but I did want to say a thank you to our city solicitor, Roy Dawson, Jerry Wheeler of Fusion Credit Union, Ron Headley, the board chair of the Country Fest Community Cinema, regarding a drafting of a new agreement between the city and the cinema to facilitate refinancing of the cinema. We can all agree that the cinema is an asset to our community, and COVID-19 and the associated provincial health orders have kept the facility closed for much of 2020, and I don't think it's been open in 21 yet for regular use. So we're pleased to work together with this group, and the details of that are in the new business section of our meeting. Next thing is the Lieutenant Colonel W.G. Billy Barker VC Airport, and I'm just going to call it the Dauphin Airport now. So I am the accountable executive for the Dauphin Airport, and as advisor to the Regional Airport Authority, I do participate in their quarterly meetings. So February 18th was the first meeting in 2021. So in addition to my usual allotment of about 2 days per month that I spend on airport functions, much of my time in the last 2 weeks went into preparing for the quarterly meeting. Some of the items that we discussed at this meeting last week was the 2020 year-end financials, the 2021 budget, new lease agreements for hangars and buildings utilized by third parties at the airport, possible activities and events for 2021 and beyond, as well as Transport Canada requirements. I can say that a lot of my time has also been taken to dedicated to the recruiting for the Director of Public Works and Operations position, and we have conducted interviews, and we are now performing the subsequent interviews and regular checks. And I do end my report by indicating that our bylaw enforcement officer has put out another piece of information for residents and ratepayers in Dauphin, and it is some guidance regarding curbside waste and recycling, as well as recycling, the residential recycling depot. Some things that do's, don'ts, and then talking about do's and don'ts about the curbside pickup, the little blurb about the recycling depot that's across from the Rotary Arena, as well as the diversion center, which is upcoming later in 2021, and what some of the things that can be dropped off there. And that concludes my report.
Any questions of the city manager, Councillor Ehlers?
Yes, I was just going to question the information that was put out for the curbside recycling. And if you read it, there might be some confusion with some people, but it says here must have recycling container set out for the city to collect the waste container. Place container out the day before collection. And then it says to remove the containers from the street by the following morning. Containers go out there, people go to work, they don't pull their containers in until the evening. That's happened to me. I got a warning and they weren't picked up even that day. And so I think the wording has to be a little different if you take a look at that, because most people won't be able to pick, our garbage sometimes doesn't get picked up till late afternoon.
So the intent was, for example, if your garbage day is on Tuesday, you can put it out as early as Monday evening, and you can take it back in as late as Wednesday morning. So to give, okay, we'll take a look at that.
I have a comment.
Councillor Bill.
Okay, thank you. In that diversion center, it mentions that fluorescent light bulbs and aerosol cans will be collected. So I just wanted to point that out because that's a new service for our community. So I have my fluorescent light bulbs by the back door waiting. Now I'm assuming they have to be unbroken when they are delivered.
That is correct, that they need to be intact. And I believe that those may have been collected during the Household Hazardous Waste Day before. So a lot of the guidance that people would have used for that household hazardous waste day in September each year, those are the types of things that we can now, once the diversion center is up and running, things that we will be able to deposit regularly instead of saving it for one day.
Thank you. And do we have an approximate timeline for when it may be available for this kind of drop off?
Yeah, so we are, I, I don't want to blame, but we are waiting for the final approval from the province to get it, I guess, all of the paperwork in place so that we can take it. We don't want to take it before that time, just because there are regulations that we need to follow. So we want to make sure that we have, you know, all of the paperwork in place and all of the rules in place so that we collect them properly and that we can then pass them on to the different entities that take these items, because they do have to do things with them before, like, we don't collect them and someone else doesn't throw them in the landfill. It goes to places that are where they're processed or recycled or disposed of properly, but not just in a regular landfill.
Councillor Eilers.
The next question, when you talk about batteries, are you just talking about the household batteries, or are you talking about batteries that would be from automobiles?
So we've partnered in the past with the Lions Club, who would take the batteries and then sell them, and that would be a fundraiser for them. I believe we would take everything, but that's a good question that I can follow up on. Thanks.
Any other questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that finance accounts haven't been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Checks number 27725 to 27775, 51 checks for $215,040.81. Some of the big ones there are Theo McDuffie Contracting. That's the demolition of 134 4th Street Southeast for 20, and also clearing of the water treatment setting ponds, $25,053. L&P Insurance for the insurance of our vehicles for 2021, $24,591. Manitoba Hydro, $15,315.18. That's for mainly street lights. Manitoba employees, the LTD and the pension for January and February, $37,740.90, and Receiver General income tax deductions of $40,867.25. That's for January. There was no voided checks in current range or past ranges, and there are no electronic payments. Go ahead.
Okay, for the McDuffie demolition, what was the story behind that demolition?
So the property was damaged by fire, and we worked with the property owner to get it demolished because it was damaged beyond repair. Unfortunately, the property owner was not able to do that demolition, so the city undertook it, which is normal practice, and then it will be added to taxes after a certain amount of time that we give the property owner to pay the bill.
Any other questions of councillors? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved, the council accepts his information, the minutes and reports of the following meeting, the Community Foundation Board of Directors meeting on February 9th, 2021. Dauphin Public Library, regular meetings of November 17th, 2020 and February 16th, 2021. The report of February 2021, the budget 2021 budget, and the library report of February 2021. And on the budget, there's no increase in the levy for Dauphin Public Library. Parkland Regional Library, regular meeting of February 8th and 2020 and February 16th, 2020. Draft budget of 2021, budget consideration and a 2021 budget. And in that, our levy went up by 5 cents, and that impact would be about $800 for the city of Dauphin.
So is it per capita, the 5 cents, or how does it work? Yeah,
Yeah, it's $8.55 right now per capita.
okay.
Any other questions? Call the questions, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riel, second by Councillor Eilers. Whereas Honor 150 presented by Canada Life recognizes 150 people from across the province who stand out for their role in contributing to volunteerism, arts, health, education, environment, and culture that made Manitoba an exceptional province. And whereas on January 31st, 2020, the City of Dauphin submitted an Honor 150 nomination to recognize Bill Hart as an outstanding contributor to our community, and be it resolved that Council accepts this information correspondence from Manitoba 150 advising of the City of Dauphin's successful nomination of Bill Hart as one of the 150 honorees representing our province for contributing to a culture of volunteers in our community. That Bill has certainly contributed a lot to our community, and deserving recognition of him. Also, just my friend Ken McRanco from Ethelbert, he was one of the people recognized, and Ken has done a lot of volunteer work, especially for the MS Society. Councillor,
Ken was my math teacher.
he was a good one.
Yeah, so anyway, our paths crossed later on in life. And he has been challenged with MS, and is probably a real good example of dealing with whatever life kind of throws at you. I also wanted to mention that Bill Hart was part of our Communities in Bloom as well. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't mention that, because he was, I believe it was 12 years that he was
On the original committee.
yeah, he was on the original committee. So that's kind of disappointing, because he was involved, and he was actually, when we did our tours with the judges, he was our historian. So he's contributed a lot, and he's got such a knowledge base of everything and that has been going on in Dauphin. Never, he volunteers, but he's got a lot of background. Did very good with the Watson Arts Center of how they had rallied, and also he was very interested in the historic homes around, and so he could give a really good history of that. So it's well deserved.
He was very instrumental in the in the skate park. Yeah. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Riel, Deputy Mayor Lachlan. They look sort of. Whereas the City of Dauphin public water system is subjected to annual audit to ensure compliance with the Drinking Water Safety Act and the system's current operating license, and whereas the Provincial Government of Conservation and Climate Office of the Drinking Water in their letter dated February 17th, 2021, indicated the city was compliant with the Drinking Water Safety Act and the terms and conditions of the operating license PWS 08-11702 for the period January 1 to December 31, 2020. Be it resolved, the council accepts this information, the 2020 annual compliance audit for the City of Dauphin Public Water System from Conservation and Climate Office, Drinking Water, February 17th, 2021. So we're doing good. Our water is safe. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas the province of Manitoba Building Sustainable Community Grant Program is open to municipalities, nonprofit, and charitable organizations seeking funds for projects that help to thrive sustainable communities that provide a higher quality of life. And whereas the BSC program will fund a maximum provincial contribution of 50% of eligible costs to a maximum grant of $75,000 and 50% of eligible project cost up to a maximum of $300,000 for capital project with eligible costs over $150,000. And whereas the BSC guidelines indicate a letter of support from the local government should be included with the application. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, a memorandum dated February 19th, 2021 from the executive assistants recommending that support letters be provided for the following Building Sustainable Communities Grant application. City of Dauphin Development Plan Update, City of Dauphin Conferencing System at City Hall, Dauphin Rec Services Multipurpose Community Courts, Dauphin Art Group Display Grids. Further be it resolved that council authorizes the administration to provide letters of support for the above noted grant applications and commends the efforts of these organizations to contribute to the growth and development of government, recreation, and arts in our community. Any questions? All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Yell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Whereas the Dauphin and District Community Foundation invests in the development of our community through annual grants for projects that build on our community assets and foster cooperation, cooperative approaches to community issues. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, correspondence dated February 25th, 2021 from the City of Dauphin requesting of a letter support of the city applications for a DDCF grant to replace a 20-year-old conferencing system with a newer model that supports more web features such as interoperability with web conferencing service, Teams, Zoom, as well as supporting video and recording of meetings. Further be it resolved, the council authorizes the administration to provide a letter supporting the City of Dauphin's application for the grant to replace a 20-year-old conferencing system and recognizes the importance of an upgrading system in providing optimal audio and visual services to City Council, staff, and the public. Any questions? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Stakailos and seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan. Whereas the Dauphin and City Community Foundation invests in our development of our community through annual grants for projects that build on our community assets and foster cooperative approaches to community issues. Further be it resolved, the council accepts this information, correspondence dated February 18th from Terry Maxwell, grant coordinator for the Dauphin Art Group, requesting a letter of support for the art group's application for a grant to replace the heavy wooden display boards that display grids that are lighter, more durable, and more easily stored and transported. Further be it resolved, the council authorizes administration a letter supporting the Dauphin Art Group application to the foundation grant to purchase new display grids and commends the DA Dauphin Art Group for cultivating the arts through art workshops and art shows that feature the wonderful art and artists of our area. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Yes, up a little. Moved by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, seconded by Councillor Riel, whereas the Government of Manitoba Universal Broadband Fund offers 1.7 billion in funding for broadband infrastructure that bring high-speed internet at 10 megabytes per second to rural and remote communities, and whereas high-speed internet access is essential for all Canadians for remote working and learning, for access to online medical services, and for enabling transition to a digital economy. Be it resolved, the Council accepts this information dated February 16 from Charlene Gulak, Entrepreneurship Coordinator for Community Futures Parkland, requesting a letter of support of Community Futures application for the Universal Broadband Fund to provide broadband access to rural and remote communities in the Parkland region. Further be it resolved, the Council authorizes administration to provide a letter of support supporting Community Futures application to the Universal Broadband Fund and recognizes the critical value of their support. Proposed rural broadband project in connecting rural Manitobans to each other on online work, learning opportunities, and the evolving digital economy. Any questions? The only thing I have is that we have to improve cell service in our region. The broadband is pretty well established, but our cell area through the Parkland is just horrible. So anyway.
So one of the things that this is the second support that we've given to an organization to increase broadband. And the hope is that once infrastructure is in place for broadband, it's possible that cell service could piggyback onto that. So there is a bit of a bigger picture, and hopefully we can get both of those services to our rural neighbors and in I guess, a better fashion.
Yeah. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lachlan, whereas the City of Dauphin owns the CN station and leases space to tenants, be it resolved that the Dauphin and District Handy Van Association has expressed interest in office space at CN. Further be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a memorandum dated February 12, 2021 from the Executive Assistant outlining the terms of the lease agreement between the City of Dauphin and the Handy Van Association, including the following provisions to note: 3-year lease from October 1st, 2021 to March 31st, 2024, with the option to renew for an additional 3-year term, monthly rent of $650 plus applicable taxes for the duration of the first 3-year term, with an increase of $700 per month plus applicable taxes should both parties exercise the option to extend the lease for a second term. Provision of 4 parking spaces until the initial lease term. If additional term of 3 years is exercised, then parking fees may be charged at the rate of one free space and $25 per month for additional spaces. Further be it resolved, the council accepts as information the lease agreement with the Dauphin and District Handy Van Association for office space at CN and authorizes the agreement to be signed, sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the mayor and city manager. So this should provide stability and location for the Handy Van Association. It's been, they've been moving from one place to another. And I think this is a good agreement for both the city and for the Handy Van Association.
I think it's their fourth year.
Yeah.
In the relatively short
Yeah.
time.
They were
They were at the senior center, then at United
at church and then over here. So any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riels, second by Councillor Eilers, whereas the Dauphin and District Handy Van Association provides accessible transportation to the citizens of the city and RM of Dauphin, funded by grants from the province, the city, and the RM, donations and user fees. And whereas for several years, the RM of Dauphin has been the sole municipal sponsor of the Handy Van, and the city and RM have proposed co-sponsorship of this organization going forward. Be it resolved, the council accepts as information a memorandum dated February 19, 2021 from the city manager regarding the concept of the City of Dauphin and RM co-sponsoring the Dauphin and District Handy Van Association. Further be it resolved, the council agrees with the city manager's recommendation and approves the joint municipal agreement between the city manager and the RM of Dauphin to co-sponsor the Handy Van and authorize the agreement to be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the mayor and city manager. And further be it resolved, as a provision of the agreement, any financial deficit that may be incurred by the Handy Van after receipt of grants, donation, and user fees will be borne jointly by the City of Dauphin and the RM of Dauphin.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
Just a comment. It's just really nice to see the RM and the City of Dauphin working together on joint projects like this. We meet on a regular basis. It's good dialogue. We make decisions together. We plan together. I think it's a wonderful process. So I'm very happy that we're involved with that.
You want to read this one? Deputy, moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the 25K Northgate Trail System developed by the Dauphin Derailers is located on City of Dauphin land owned in the RM of Dauphin, adjacent to the water treatment plant along the north end of Riding Mountain National Park. And whereas in 2018, the City of Dauphin entered into a recreational land use agreement with the derailers, similar to agreements between the derailers and other affected landowners. And whereas through 2019 and 2020, derailers developed a trailhead infrastructure and has begun to promote Northgate as an outdoor adventure destination for the enjoyment of both tourists and local residents, complete with rental cabins and washroom facilities. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, the memorandum dated February 5th, 2021, from the city manager and advising the City of Dauphin requires an addendum to the original land use agreement with the derailers to establish terms of operation of the Northgate Trailhead. Further, be it resolved that this new agreement will be in effect for a period of 3 years, after which a new agreement will be drafted to govern the operation and maintenance of the trails and trailhead going forward. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the city manager's recommendation and authorizes the amendment to be signed and sealed on behalf of the city of Dauphin, mayor and city manager. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Whew, gotta rest up here. It's the big ones. Is the next one. Is a little shorter. Moved by Councillor Eilers, second by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas on May 21st, 2010, City of Dauphin entered into a lease agreement and development agreement with the community cinema, establishing terms for the construction of the cinema on city-owned land and subsequent operations of the facility, including a 5-year clause for municipal grant in lieu of taxes and a 1-year lease rate. And whereas in a lease and development amendment on April 29, 2016, the municipal grant was further extended to such time as the original mortgage was paid in full of, or August 15, 2029, whatever was to occur first. Be it resolved that council accepts this information. A memorandum dated February 19th from the city manager advising the Dauphin Community Cinema has requested an agreement due to refinancing of the city's cinema's mortgage in 21, which extends the lease and grant in lieu of taxes to the end of 2040. And further, be it resolved that council accepts this information. The lease and development agreement, Amendment 2, between the city and the community cinema, which includes the following terms: extending the lease rate of $1 per year to the end of 2040, extending the grant in lieu of taxes in the amount equivalent to the municipal portion of taxes until the refinance mortgage is paid in full, or December 31st, 2040, which occurs first. And further, be it resolved that council approves the lease and development agreement, Amendment 2 between the city and the cinema, and authorizes the agreement to be signed and sealed on behalf of the city by the mayor and city manager. And it's amazing that the cinema has been here 10 years already, and 2020 and 2021 are the most difficult years in their revenue sources have basically dried up till we move on from the pandemic. So it's necessary to cooperate with the cinema, and I feel it's important for the city's well-being that we have that. Any questions? Call the question. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Riel, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas the Noxious Weed Act requires every municipality to be responsible for inspection and enforcement of noxious weed in their respective municipalities. And whereas the Noxious Weeds Act requires every municipality to appoint by resolution a noxious weed inspector for each term, for a term of 12 months beginning on March 1st, be it resolved that council authorizes the appointment of Edward Simpson, Parks Lead, and with the Dauphin Rec Services, and Conrad Demera, bylaw enforcement officer with the City of Dauphin as noxious weeds inspectors for the City of Dauphin as per the Noxious Weeds Act for the period ending February 28th, 2022. And further be it resolved that council administration forwards the inspectors' names and a copy of the appointment to Manitoba Agriculture and Resource Development. Any questions?
Do we have the steamer that's for the weeds on the sidewalks? Has that been purchased? Do you know the background?
I believe it is scheduled for purchase in 2021, in the 2021 budget.
So my question is, will we get it in time for summer, like spring? Because that's where you get the best control if you do your spring and fall kind of.
I believe that the model and everything is all lined up for purchasing. So once the budget is approved, then we can do that immediately, and that should be early to mid-May.
Whereas the City of Dauphin contracted with All Night Municipal Solutions March 1st, 2019 to provide Connect services on emergency alert system. And whereas the current annual term for the agreement will expire on March 1st, 2021. And whereas it is beneficial for a municipality to have a means of contacting many residents and visitors with urgent or emergent message. And be it resolved, the council accepts this information dated February 19th from the executive assistant outlining the city's relationship with AllNet to provide the Connect emergency communication system. Further be it resolved that council accepts this information, a revised AllNet software license agreement dated February 23rd from 2021 from Vern Sabisky, managing partner of AllNet, outlining a contract with the City of Dauphin to provide the municipal messaging software Connect for additional term of 1 year. Further be it resolved, the council agrees with the executive assistant's recommendation and authorizes the agreement to be signed and sealed on behalf of the City of Dauphin by the mayor and city manager. Any questions? I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councilor Riel. Be it resolved that bylaw 01-2021 being a bylaw to repeal bylaw 13-2012 to permit Sunday and general holiday shopping be now read a first time. Just for my information, I thought everything was good.
So as I believe I reported to council that the province has repealed the act that restricts Sunday and holiday shopping. So right now we have a Sunday and holiday shopping bylaw on our books, but there's no act that it gives it authority to do so. So in order to just clean up the books and take it off of our list, we have to pass another bylaw to repeal a bylaw. But so this is housekeeping in its grandest sense.
I thought it was, anyway, any questions on the, all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councilor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Invitations, Dauphin and District Chamber of Commerce Annual General Meeting and Awards Night on March the 9th, 2021. The FCM, June 1st to 4th, 2021, and we don't know if that's a It is?
It's virtual.
It's virtual, okay. And community events, Mountain School Division Virtual Public Budget Forum on March the 1st, 2021. Any questions? I think on the FCM stuff will come out for registration in due course. Okay, motion carried. Now the councilor's privileges. Can't remember where I started last time. Pardon? Was I? Okay. Oh yeah, I just I picked it out of that. Councilor Riel, do you want to start off?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. February 8th, I attended the regular council meeting in person at City Hall. February 11th, three of us met to discuss crime prevention initiatives for our CMNCP, for our community. What else? Sorry, my mind's all over the place. February 11th, we also had a protective services committee meeting. Just a reminder to citizens to please ensure that you report crime. It's necessary that you make your complaints known to our detachment here so they can be included in our statistics and just to let us know what's going on in the community. We also got a new detachment commander, Staff Sergeant Raymond Campbell. He came to us from Swan River and he has family in the area, so welcome to him. And therein ends my report.
Thank you. On February the 10th, I attended the RM liaison meeting, and then Francis Chartrand and Herman Spence joined us for a chat and coffee. Francis, who is the vice president for MMF and runs the Northwest Métis Council, also updated us on the two new buildings that are going up on Main Street South, their daycare and their office building. Plus, she reminded everyone of the special virtual Louis Riel Day that they had organized. On February the 11th, I attended the Protective Services meeting via Zoom and met our new Staff Sergeant Campbell. February 17th, I spoke with Doug Lukaway, who is the head of the RCMP Crime Prevention Services at D Division Headquarters in Winnipeg, about the roles of his unit. As we determine our plans for a crime prevention strategy in Dauphin, it's important to know what resources are available. For community events, there was a virtual snowshoe event that Rotary organized in the community. Amazingly, 140 people signed up and you got to snowshoe whenever you wanted. And I did mine today. And it's a new concept of running events that COVID has caused us to design. And amazingly, it works. A big thank you to the Dauphin Senior Center for a delicious meal on Valentine's Day weekend. For those who need a break from cooking, you can check out Sharon McCorvey's menus, plus Simple Fare by Lorene Husband. Plus, our local restaurants have all mastered the takeout and delivery routine. There's so many choices. And a big thank you also to the members of the fire department for fighting some big fires recently, especially during that intense cold spell. Plus, thank you to the Public Works employees who are repairing water main breaks caused by all that intense cold. And I'm imagining this warm weather is going to create something as well, right? You go intensely cold and then very warm and snap. So I think my recommendation would be no articles on the number of water main breaks in the media, because as soon as the article came out, snap. Eh? That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. On February 8th, I attended in person the city council meeting. On February 11th, I did a workshop, the code of conduct that is provided by AMM. It was a good review of information. February 16th, I attended the planning and priority meeting here at city council in person. On February 15th, I was able to watch the fireworks from my home. So it pays to have a second story sometimes. You can see over top of everybody else's house. It was an awesome presentation. And on February 18th, I had a Communities in Bloom meeting. And on February 19th, I had a Dauphin Vet Board meeting. So very good meetings and a lot of good discussion. And then I'd like to thank the fire department for their work on the, actually some of the horrific couple of fires that we've had, especially when the weather is so cold. And it's nice now to have a break in the weather. And I just want to please continue. I'm really pleased with our community with following through with the public health restrictions, and we'll just reinforce washing your hands and wearing a mask and social distancing and staying safe. It's good to see that the community is engaged to keep our community safe, and that ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On February the 8th, I attended the regular council meeting in person here at City Hall. On February the 10th, a few days later, meeting with Francis Chartrand, Vice President of the Manitoba Métis Federation here in person at City Hall. That was a great meeting. Lots to talk about those buildings in town, just great progression there. I know too, just it was really cold out a couple weeks ago. We even saw the construction workers out there working on those buildings when the temperatures were in the -30s. So really excited to see those buildings up in the near future. On February the 11th, a very exciting AMM insurance meeting online that I got to attend. So that was awesome. February the 15th took in some of the online festivities hosted by the Northwest Métis Council and MMF. Great job on the fireworks. It seemed a little early though, 6:30. It kind of took me a little bit off guard. There was still a little bit light out, but really cool to have those happen in the community. On the 16th, the Planning and Priorities meeting here in person at City Hall. And on the 18th, the Communities in Bloom meeting here in person at City Hall for me as well. And as Patty mentioned, just another kudos to the Dauphin Fire Department fighting the fires in very low temperatures. Thanks to them for all they do. And that ends my report.
Councillor Stakilo.
Here we go. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, February 8th, regular council meeting. February 16th, planning and priorities meeting. On February 18th, as the city manager has already mentioned, there was an airport board meeting. Our quarterly airport meetings are usually quite lengthy, and a variety of items are usually discussed. However, one item that is somewhat of a recurring item is flight training at the Dauphin Airport. There had been interest in other flight schools around the province and even outside of the province in having flight training at the Dauphin Airport as a satellite location. However, in order for those flight schools to come to Dauphin, they would need interested individuals to take the training. Actually, today I was copied on an email from our tenant rep on the airport board who has been tasked with trying to bring a flight school to the Dauphin Airport, and he indicated that the Brandon Flight School has expressed interest. So I just thought I would put it out there that if there are any interested individuals, to reach out to Brandon Flight School and to discuss further details about the potential for that. For Dauphin to be able to offer flight training, it would be a really big win for the airport and hopefully get more people interested in flying. Earlier today, I had a Dauphin neighborhood renewal meeting. One thing I'll mention about that meeting is we've started to reach out to other NRCs in the province just to see how they're operating and to try to gain some insight into their involvement into their communities. We've had one session so far, and we're planning a second one with Portage La Prairie. And it's just having the executive director from each of those NRCs give us a little presentation. So valuable information, and if we can glean some additional information, that would be great. One last thing that I just want to mention is I've noticed a lot of posts and pictures and people getting out and about and enjoying the outdoors and being active. I'm really proud of our community and for the region for getting out and enjoying the wonderful surroundings that we have. And it's not just the fabulous Northgate trails, but it's right here, right in our city. I'm fortunate that one of my daughter's activities has been allowed to resume on a limited capacity. And on my way home on Sunday, the activity was out of the community, I was driving past Vermilion Park around lunchtime, and I couldn't believe the amount of cars in the parking lot. I think the lot was full. I don't think you could find a parking spot. So people are getting out and enjoying our parks and our trails, even within our community. And I don't think it was just because of the mild weather, because I saw a ton of photos online of people during the deep freeze getting out and being active. So it just proves how resilient we are as a community, and how we're willing to adapt, and we will persevere. And with that, that ends my report.
Thank you, Councillor Scott. I was amazed at how many cars there were at it was packed. We have to expand the parking lot. February 10th, the RM City Liaison, and as mentioned, we had Francis Chartrand and Herman Spence from the MF, and discussed a lot of topics, including the new construction and the potential for further construction. So it's a good, we have good partners there. February 11th, Protective Services, new Staff Sergeant Campbell. 15th, I brought greetings in the opening of the Rugiel Day, and it was amazing how many activities were put on throughout the day on Facebook, and it was nice, and the fireworks too. Yeah, I agree with Deputy Mayor Loughlin, but on the light, but as it got darker, it got nicer. But yeah, it just, I think they had to be in Winnipegosis at 8 o'clock. That's why they had it. On the 16th, we had a strategic planning and priorities meeting. February 17th, my 4 minutes of fame. I was on CBC Manitoba talking on EV chargers, and the comments I got, I should have darkened my bedroom or room where I have the computer, because I said, "Oh, you have balderdash." They missed the whole thing. So, yeah, I concur with all the thing on the fire department. God, I think that was it first or second Northeast. That was the coldest night, and they were amazing. And the COVID, people I think we're down to one active case in Dauphin, so that's very good. It means compliance with the health orders, and as we sort of flatten the curve, further there'll be restrictions that are maybe inconvenient right now, but they're just necessary to make sure that we get this pandemic over with. And that ends my report. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the council meeting be recessed at 6 o'clock.